Hello Internet, Dave here, and welcome to the continuation of my Lizardmen battalion build. Today, in this video, we are building the Cold One Knights. I'm going to do a similar thing like I did with the Saurus Warriors. I'm only going to do 2 or 3 on camera and do the rest off camera, so you won't get completely bored with the build. Without any further ado, let's crack open these cold ones. So here are the 2 cold ones that I am going to be spraying. I am doing them in Chaos Black. I'll be doing the riders and the mounts, the cold ones, separately on this video and then putting them together. Otherwise it will get a bit messy. Now moving on to the spraying of the Saurus Warriors, which you ride on top of the Cold Ones, the Cold One Knights themselves. As it's going to be a full command team, I'm only going to spray what I need. Which includes some of the spears here, as well as one of the close combat weapons and the drumsticks. I'll choose which flag I am going to use in a bit. Now to let this lot dry. So here are the cold ones ready to be made. As you can see, I have sprayed both sides. As I say in my other videos, it is for pure ease of painting them. So let's build some cold ones. So with these cold ones and their knights, I am going to be doing them in the colours of a very Pacific spawning that was done during the Great Catastrophe, when the realms of chaos first burst through onto the world, where men, dwarves and elves were still young and the lizardmen were old. It is said that this particular spawning of cold ones and their knights charged through hordes of chaos demons, smiting them as they went, tearing asunder their ethereal flesh and sending them back to the realms of chaos. As they did so, their skin colour changed. The colour from the knights would seem to be drained out of them as they were using their very life force to defeat the realms of chaos. The cold one's flesh flayed and peeled, the muscular becoming their new scales, and their claws tearing deep fathoms of flesh into the world. The crumbling defense of Assyria. At last the way was clear for the demons to besiege Assyria, the first city and linchpin of the Lizardmen Arcania defences. The Cold One's knights charged forth, tearing asunder a path. However, the city itself was still under the protection of Lord Coke, first of all the Slan, spoiled upon the world by the mightiest of the mages. The energy dome that surrounded Assyria cracked with energy, turning demons to dust as they rallied against it. Yet after centuries of straining, even Lord Croak could not sustain such mystic walls no longer, and with a final surge he exploded the barrier outwards, flattering the surrounding jungle. 100,000 demons were banished in an instant. Nevertheless, the remains swarmed into Listeria. Of all the long run, no battle was more fiercely fought than the one among the streets of Assyria. Only an epic stand by Lord Croak's army of Temple Guard prevented the demons from overrunning the Great Pyramid. For many days and nights, the elite Saurus warriors stood firm on the lofty bridges of the stars. Using his reserves of energy, Lord Croak prepared his final incantations. As the last of the Temple Guard were cut down, Lord Croak spouted forth spells that were the preserve of gods, raining fire down from the heavens to vaporize the foe. Time stood still as the fabric of the universe strained at the outpour of sheer power. Yet eventually even Lord Croak succumbed. A dozen bloodthirsters, protected by the favour of the Dark God, fought through the deluges of spells and reached the top of the pyramid. There they fell upon Lord Croak's form, ripping him apart in a savage instant. So overcharged with arcane energy was Lord Croak that his spirit fought on, refusing to let even death hinder him. Set free of his flesh, Croak's resilient will soared above the ruins, scorching the invaders with a divine light that was like unto a second sun. The first city was saved. Although Isaiah was delivered, the war raged on across the globe. The younger races also faced the demon legions. Despite retreating to their mounted holds, the dwarves had been diminished. The elves of Lurthen suffered tremendous loss, but in the end, the mages enacted the Great Ritual, a spell that created a vast vortex that drained away the sways of magic that flowed the world. Deprived of the lifeblood magical energy, the demons disappeared back to the seething realm. Yet the world was enveloped, damaged now, transformed into a world strange with magic and monsters. With the demons of chaos banished, a new age dawned over Lustria. The Lizardmen issued forth from amongst the ruins of the temple cities to a blasted, smoking wasteland. Yes, that was a bit from the Great Catastrophe, the last parts of it. Obviously, that part of the Lizardmen lore gave me the inspiration for these colours of the Cold Ones and their knights, making the Cold Ones this luscious pink colour and darker pinks with their claws and teeth white, golden chains or necklaces to signify what they are there, as well as the great remnants of the green jungle around their feet. Did take me a little while to get these ones painted and made up, all 8 of them. I'm, as I say, only showing you a few for the restraints of time, and it was also a bit quicker for me to do them separately as well. Mainly the colours I have used for this will be in the description, but as you can probably tell, it's a lot of pink, a bit of white, a bit of brown, and some gold colours. Mainly Balthasar gold, pink horror, and putrid flesh for the claws, Caliban green for the jungle bits, for the plants, and a nice blue for the eyes so they can stand out a bit more against the pink instead of the red that you would normally find on Cold Ones. Now, Cold Ones are mistakenly referred to as dinosaurs. They're actually more related to dragons than they are dinosaurs, as they are cousins of the winged reptilian beasts that soar through the skies of the Warhammer world. Cold Ones are a lot more feral than their dragon counterparts, being more of an instinctive nature rather than a wiser nature. They are more keen to hunting and surviving the
Lustrian jungles full of many different predators. They also work more together in packs rather than solitary units, which is what their other winged Dragon King do. Cold Ones are not just used by the Lizardmen, but also by the Dark Elves as well. The Dark Elf variant seem to be a lot more vicious, as they are closer to the Chaos Wastes than their Lustrian counterparts, as they have evolved to a colder, harsher climate than that of the warm, thick Lustrian jungles.
And here are the 8 Cold Ones, all built and ready for their knights to arrive. As you can see, the colours do all look rather awesome, as was my intention with these guys, as I said earlier. And of course you've got the horned one, where the champion of the Cold One Knights will ride forth into battle. Now it's on to the Saurus Knights that ride these fine beasts.
Cold One Knights. Saurus warriors are formidable fighters. When mounted atop a Cold One, they become a shock force capable of delivering an absolute mauling. Those foes who can muster the courage to stand before the sight of oncoming Cold One cavalry find themselves beset by a whirlwind of biting jaws, slashing talons, and jabbing spear thrusts. The Cold Ones are foul-tempered and dim-witted reptilian creatures. They emerge from subterranean layers to prowl in packs throughout Lustria. They are hunched bipedal beasts with muscular legs, but when Cold Ones move at speed, they often use their forelimbs for balance and achieve a more rapid pace. Those shortened arms come into their own, however, as the conclusion of a hunt. When assaulting, Cold Ones lead with their scythe-like claws, attempting first to disavow their quarry. If it spots an undefended limb or underbelly, Cold Ones dart out their elongated necks in a snake-like strike. With her horrific snapping of powerful jaws, a Cold One will clamp down and savage its prey, shaking and twisting until it tears free a chunk of flesh. Always ravenous, Cold One packs can even bring down much larger creatures, ripping them apart and devouring them in a savage fury that splatters a glistening trail across the jungle. Too fierce to be domesticated for any useful labour, from any ages the Lizardmen left the swarming Cold One packs alone. With scores of skinks learning the hard way, the beasts could not be tamed. The Cold Ones were just another one of the predators that beset any who travelled Lustria. However, that was before the blessings of the Old Ones was visited upon certain Saurus sporings. It is said that the Old Ones anticipated the future, foreseeing the events needed of the Lizardmen, and bestowed their gifts according to this. When a sporing of Saurus emerged that proved to be able to ride upon the Cold Ones, skink priests claimed this was no less than the divine will of Itzel, the great god of beasts. Saurus warriors blessed by Ixel have an apparent aptitude for mounted warfare. They exude a mask not dissimilar to the rank odour produced by the Cold Ones themselves, allowing them to form bonds with the otherwise hostile creatures. The Saurus have death claws that are perfect for gripping the thick scale hide of their Atelium skis, leaving them free to carry both spear and shield. All such spawnings produce a pack leader who instinctively leads the group, knowing where to find the Cold Ones and how best to break them into mounts. To direct the bloodthirst of a Cold One takes a dominant will, and even the Saurus sometimes find themselves struggling to control their mounts. On occasion, the Cold Ones, their reptilian brains overloaded, become confused. In such cases, the predators resort to their base instincts, roaming to the heavens, clawing at the ground in a display of fury, or snapping mindlessly about them in a fit of deadly panic. During these impulsive moments, the riders can do little but hang on, keeping their limbs away from the riotous snapping jaws. When their beasts eventually calm down, however, the Cold One cavalry are a formidable adversary. With their savagery squandered, a deadly reptilian warrior mounted atop a fierce, cold-blooded hunter. The attacks leave behind little to identify what matter of creature the foe once was. One of the Cold One's most favourite meats is that of horse meat, showing that they are not only thick-skinned, but these reptilians are fast enough to chase down and devour that of a horse on the open battlefield. Yes, so as you can tell, the Cold Ones are a very dangerous in their own right, and then you have your Cold One Knights atop of them, charging forth into battle, running down the foe and tearing them asunder. As you can see with the build I am doing, I have done the white variant of the Cold One's Knights, as I said, from the part of pre-history, which was the Great Catastrophe Age, when chaos first burst into the realm. The great god Izil, the Lizardmen, particularly Skinks, outside the temple city, worship the great god Izil, the three-horned ruler of cold-blooded beasts. The remaining temples of Izil are always distant structures deep in the jungles of Lustria. Many feature great gongs, instruments rung only when sacrifices have been tried to attack Exil's creatures out of the impenetrable forest to feed. To the end of this build, I will build and paint the remainder off camera, as it's going to take me a little while to do. So here we go. And there we have them, my Cold One Knights, all ready to go and assemble. The full command team, the champion there in his armor with his sword leading the way, the musician beating out the drums, the banner bearer making sure everyone knows where they are, and of course a normal Cold One Knight with spear ready to throw it at the enemy as they charge them down and tear their foes asunder. I hope that you enjoyed this build. I'd say doing these ones in celebration of the release of Total War Warhammer II. The next ones shall be the Temple Guard. Don't forget to comment, rate and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Until then, this is Dave. Knowledge is power. And these lizard men, they do use it wisely.